little something about The Walking Dead. If any episode features a strong, emotional retrospective about a singular character, they are not gonna live to see the credits roll. The war with the Saviors has officially begun on the big season finale of The Walking Dead. Season 7, Episode 16. The first day of the rest of your life. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of the big Season 7 finale of The Walking Dead. So of course, spoilers ahead. That's what we do here. Alright, so big episode, extended episode, we had a lot of ground to cover, but really a lot of that is wonderful storytelling with really three primary focuses here. We have Sasha and her old journey back to Alexandria. We have Negan doing his Negan things. And then, of course, we have the big battle at Alexandria, which was just beautiful. Had its ups, had its downs, had its moments when we thought it was all lost. And then, of course, nothing says the war's back on like a flying tiger. So let's dig in first with Sasha here. And you know, I thought that was sort of a nice way to sort of say goodbye. Like I had mentioned in the beginning, whenever there's a big emotional retrospective, whenever we're really focused on a character, this is pretty much their swan song, their big goodbye. And we've had a couple of those with Sasha this season, so pretty sure that she was on her way out. But she went out like a boss, and it was a wonderful journey going with her on this. That opening sequence when really just focused on her face, the music in the background, and it's all happening right here. I mean, this is Sonequa Martin Green really showing her acting chops. They didn't need to do any more with it. It was all perfectly framed. The whole story was told right there. And of course, they're slowly letting us know what's going on with Sasha. The music in the background, her kind of bits of joy and yet something else going on. Took a little bit to figure out exactly what had happened until we figured out that she had taken the poison pill. I don't know if you guys didn't catch it until Eugene's final reveal there at the end. Had a feeling, I think, by about the second flashback, that there was something weird going on here. And in those flashbacks, of course, we have her reconnecting with Abraham. And it's very appropriate, and I was thinking, was this a memory, or was this sort of a dream? And I think it was sort of a half dream, half memory. I think this was a time for Sasha to kind of go through and wrap things up and say her goodbyes and have those moments, that last little kind of connection with Abraham before signing off. And the only reason I say that I think it was kind of half dream is I don't remember at any point Sasha mentioning anything like she had a dream, she knew Abraham shouldn't go. None of that, as far as I could recall, was ever brought up at all this season. So I doubt a little bit of the truthfulness of the events happening exactly as they seemed to be in the dream that she was just remembering. Though in some ways she was. Maybe perhaps it was similar to that, but slightly tweaked. The dream may be slightly off. But it did give a great chance to kind of have the two of those characters together, really have those moments, and talk about dying and the reason for dying. And I think that was the great thing about it all, is really kind of summoning up the whole, you do this for someone else. That's what Abraham was going to do. That's the kind of person Sasha was going to do. That's why the two of them really connected. You do these things for other people. If you're going to lay it on the line, if you're going to die, if you are going to go out, you do it not for yourself, but for your family, those around you. And again, big theme throughout the whole rest of the episode. Even that last little speech that Maggie did, which was beautiful, talking about how Glenn had started all of this off. He had sacrificed, he had put himself on the line to save Rick. And it was that little connection that brought everything forward. And so this is kind of the same thing. This is Sasha putting on the line for the people she cares about, that there's only going to have to be one person to die. Of course, it didn't really go down that way, but that was her intention on that. And I just thought it was a very sweet moment to kind of have a little connection between her and Abraham, fill in those sort of character motivations, and send her off in just beautiful fashion. And of course, the counterpoint to Sasha in this episode would be Negan. And the moments between Negan and Sasha, I thought were really telling, very, very descriptive of Negan's character. I mean, because Negan is extremely charismatic. And he puts out that feeling of he's totally in control. And he lets you know that. But he plays that character of empathy, that he seems to care about what happens to you. And maybe he does and maybe he doesn't. In fact, I really say that the ultimate strength for Negan is that complete acceptance of himself and commitment to the truth. Negan does not lie. In fact, quite the opposite. He embraces the truth, even the ugliness of it. But he plays a lot of those sympathetic cards. I don't want to do this. I would like you to see to the end. Oh, but this is the way it has to be. It's that very directness of his character where he shows his appreciation, his like. He kind of builds people up with his respect towards them, but ultimately always lets them know where they stand. And yeah, he does kind of push the limits. I mean, if we start even that conversation with Sasha when they were talking about who has to die, it was like 1, maybe 2. And then by the next scene, he's like, we're only going to sacrifice 3 to Lucille before Sasha jumps back in with the negotiation. And there you can also see a great amount of who Negan respects. Negan respects, of course, strength. He likes it, he wants it on his side, but that's what he respects. With Sasha, he was willing to negotiate. Well, at least play like he was going to negotiate. Wants 3, she just wants 1, fine, for you I will. And it's a great counterpoint to later on when he's talking with Jadis, who is trying to negotiate how many people she's going to get. The agreed upon was 10, she's pushing 12, he says 10, and she's like, no, let's do it. And he just flat dead stares at her. There's no emotion, there's no read, there's no twitch, there's no movement, there's no nothing. That is the stare of someone who is committed to their position. And it was just beautiful because also with all that charisma behind him, that just shrank Jadis right down. Okay, we'll just take the 10. Which is a nice counterpoint to even her negotiation with Rick beforehand. She likes to negotiate. With Rick, maybe a little bit of willingness to. With Negan, not so much. So throughout all of this, I really appreciated just, again, getting a chance to reacquaint us with Negan and really get that good view of his character, his motivations, like I said, his truth and directness about dealing with things. And again, even when it got to that end point with Carl, when he was telling Rick what he's going to do. I'm going to kill Carl, then I'm going to bash your hands in, and that's what it's going to be. And that was just a beautiful moment there. Of course, Rick, at that point, also very committed. And that's where they hit the heads. That's where Negan couldn't press any further. And I wonder if maybe even Negan was a little off-put by Rick's directness. He is not used to that. He's used to being king of the hill. So anyway, a lot of Negan. This was his big push this episode, but it was always great to spend a little time with him and hate him. All right, and of course, the big war, the big battle of Alexandria. Beautifully done, nice setup, good twist. Several of you have wondered if the Junkyard Gang was going to be trustworthy, if they were going to be turned. And you know something? You were right. I'm the optimist. I was hoping things would sort of work out. It'd be nice. But really telling of characters right here. The betrayal was beautifully done, and you could see kind of little hints of that beforehand after Tara had pulled the cars up and they had supposedly set the explosives. Then we got to see sort of the little junkyard people sort of hanging back, the girl with the stogie putting it out and looking around, and the small little things. Michonne's sniper mate up there stepping away, and then of course to be in a position to come back and surprise her. So there were little hints, if we had known it, if we were paying attention. Does answer, of course, who had given the heads up to Negan about Rick's plans. But I think that was beautifully done. I thought it was nicely done. I liked, okay, Eugene, he definitely seems to have gone over to the dark side at this point. I was kind of holding out hope, but It is pretty much, that does seem he is committed over towards Negan's cause. And certainly where Rick and Rosita were both willing to blow him to kingdom come. Pretty much is the sign as they think that he has crossed the line as well. But that was just the first turnaround. That didn't work out. And the little back and forth was great. But still, when we had the big reveal, the big Sasha reveal, you know, when I was thinking, oh, she's going to off herself. They're going to open up and she is going to be a corpse. And they're going to be like, what? But nobody just dies on The Walking Dead. Sasha leaving a walker bomb for Negan to open up. Oh, that was beautiful. And it was Carl, the first one to react and see the opportunity. Pull his gun, shoot the couple guys behind him, and sends it all off. So we had a great battle, though I don't know why Rick didn't do anything. Yes, Jadis was up there and had the gun to him, but he could have swept and turned and pulled and done some kick-ass Rick move to fight her off. Just kind of surprised me. Everybody else was fighting. Battle didn't last that long. And they did call out, and I didn't know, when Negan said to Simon, he's like, all right, start plan B. What exactly was plan B? They already all had guns. The battle certainly didn't seem to last that long, so the plan B that I was waiting for didn't entirely put out. So the joy of seeing the big fight, it was like, joy, we're ready that they're going to get them, and then it was joy taken away as the Junkyard Gang betrays them, and then joy back as as Sasha Walker Bomb comes out, and then taken away a couple of minutes later when everyone's back on their knees. And yeah, that one moment where we had Rick and Carl kind of back on their knees in front of Negan, I was like, man, this has not changed that much at all. We're kind of right back where we were at the beginning of the season. And it looked bad. We were waiting. We knew we had backup coming, waiting for that to happen. Thought they were going to just wait to the last minute. Was there going to be one more sacrifice? But nothing says stop what you're doing like a tiger flying into screen and taking out a savior. That was beautiful. And I loved repeated a couple of times throughout that, the big tiger flying through the scene. It was just awesome. Anyway, that was the cavalry was back, and then you got to see everybody shooting and fighting off and ganging up and looking at each other, and kind of like, we had Carol back doing awesome Carol stuff. Morgan back. We had we had Daryl and Maggie linking up, and that was just the feel-good moment. We got everybody back. We are fighting them off. Victory is at hand. Well, okay, not total victory. Negan's going to last a while. He is an impressive villain, antagonist to go up against. So I'm glad they didn't just wipe it out, but they set up for a bigger war for next season. But just overall, great battle sequence, beautifully done, just awesome to see. All right, just a couple of little things. One, did Michonne lose an eye? Because when she was fighting up there, it looked all like poking out and bloodied, and it did not look good. We're going to have her and Carl are going to have mirror vision patches over their eyes. Carl and Michonne, and anyway. Just sort of curious. Not totally sure. Probably have to wait for certainty for next season. Speaking of strong warrior woman, that scene where Jadis was asking Michonne if Rick was hers and that she wanted to bed him afterwards. And was she okay with that? Two strong warrior women discussing over their men. But the best was Rick's look on that. He was not fond of that conversation at all and wanted nothing more than to walk away and be gone. Carol leading the fighters at the kingdom. Awesome. She's directing them through. That was just perfect and beautiful. And we got Morgan back on board. That scene between Ezekiel and Morgan I thought was just awesome. And Ezekiel's got such a presence. I mean, when he looks like a lion. But he's speaking to Morgan, as crazy as Morgan's going, he's kind of cowed down and had to sort of respond. I think part of that was, if you listened, Shiva keeps growling in the background. So as Ezekiel's talking, you're hearing this tiger roaring and growling in the background. That is going to put you in your place. Dwight. First off, Dwight had an excellent plan. The plan that he threw out there about slowing them down and then radioing back and then going in and taking the sanctuary and then reaching out. I mean, he had a good, complete plan. He has been thinking about this. So it was unfortunate that it all kind of got flipped on his head. But I think that's what that little message that Daryl found at the very end, the little figurine that's one of Dwight's many figurines. But that's why I said I didn't know. So yes, Dwight is back at the sanctuary, but I think we're going to have the Alexandrians thus have a spy in the midst. So that's probably going to pay off even better returns in the future. You know, not many people get to inspect their own coffin before they die, and Sasha got that moment this episode. Ew, just all sorts of wrong about that. But on the other hand, she did have some good tunes to listen to, so that's kind of a plus. All right, so I think that sort of wraps up everything. It was an amazing season. Negan was just ever present throughout it, but now we get to have the giant war against the Saviors. So next season, going to be really exciting, and actually season 8, I believe, is going to kick off with their 100th episode. So kind of a double bonus right there. Great final sequence, great final speech, like I was mentioning before, of Maggie reflecting back to how Glenn started things on, and so she was just following his lead, coming back to rescue them. They're all family, of course. They're not going to leave anyone behind. Well, maybe Eugene at this moment, but we'll wait and see. Sasha seemed to feel a lot pretty good about him, so he might turn things around. But that is going to be it until October. So if you guys did enjoy this review, please go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, comments, what did you think of the episode? Where do you think we're going now? Throw those down in the comments section below. Coming up, we have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is returning on Tuesday. We're going to be with that, and then we're going to do American Gods, which is on Starz. That premieres on April 30th. And then Fear the Walking Dead will come back in June. I believe it's June 25th. And then Game of Thrones on July 12th. So just a smattering of stuff over the next couple of months. But we will keep things going right here. And if you want to know anything else that comes up, I will tweet that out. And you can catch me on the Twitter and the Instagram at Darren Jakes. There it is right there. But if you are not a subscriber and you want to be sure that you don't miss anything, become a subscriber and do that by hitting me in the face. Not this one right here. Go ahead, hit that button and you won't miss anything. And I am going to throw up our latest review for the season finale of Legion right here. Awesome show. Check it out. All right, so I am D and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.